Hey guys, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Since I didn't bring you live results from Extreme Rules, I promised you a full recap of the show, and here it is. This was a good show. I mean, a lot of stuff seemed rushed on this Extreme Rules, but there was a couple good matches and a great surprise at the end. So let's get started. The pre-show was a pre-show. For some reason, I don't know why, they had Paige on the kickoff panel because they have nothing better to do with Paige. The Dudleys came out and cut a promo in the ring saying, they're too extreme for Extreme Rules. Big Cass came down and took out Devon with the East River Crossing. Then had Baron Corbin defeat Ziggler in a okay match. They utilized the no disqualification aspect of it with Baron hitting the low blow on Ziggler, then hitting the End of Days, winning the match. I thought the Payback pre-show match between these two was better. Show started off the Texas Tornado match with Usos and the Gallows and Anderson. This was a good match. This was a good way to get the crowd ready for Extreme Rules. I thought putting this match on first, you know it's going to be a good match, and it's a good way because it's a tornado match. It's got a Extreme Rules gimmick to it, so it's going to show the fans, hey, here's a gimmick match to start you off. Let's go from here. I just want to say the fans hated the Usos tonight. They could not get a cheer. The Usos would hit big spots. They'd hit cool dives. They'd hit their comebacks, and the crowd would just boo. There was good back and forth action in this match. It was a little short and seemed a little rushed. The finish, Anderson was outside of the match with Jay and got hit with a super kick. Jay then did the Umaga back it up splash in the barricade. He was then laid out by Gallows. Gallows went and got the ring bell and brought it into the ring and was hit with a super kick from Jimmy. Jimmy climbed to the top rope to go for a splash, and as he came down for the splash, Gallows moved. He landed on the ring bell. Anderson got back in the ring. The two hit the Magic Killer, and Gallows and Anderson finally got a win. This is their second win in the WWE. But like I said, great match to open up the show. We then had the United States Championship match, Kalisto defending against Rusev. If you don't remember, Monday, Rusev put Kalisto in a pretty wicked accolade. They said that Kalisto was injured and he couldn't work SmackDown. In fact, Kalisto was not injured, and he actually went to Mexico to do some promotion because WWE's got a couple tours coming up there. One point in the match, like I said, Rusev dominated for the most part. One point in the match, Kalisto had a sleeper hold on Rusev, and Rusev was standing there, and the only thing he could think of to get out of the sleeper hold was, I'm going to fall on my back. He fell on his back, squished the crap out of Kalisto, and it looked like it actually hurt Kalisto a little bit. Finish of the match, Kalisto was trying to climb to the top rope. Rusev cut him off and threw him. He flipped him off the top rope, back first onto the ring apron. JBL Michael Cole kept talking about how it's the hardest part of the ring. Doctors came over to look at Kalisto. Every time Rusev would try to get close to Kalisto, the ref would push him off, say, hey, give us a second. Rusev grabbed Kalisto, brought him to the middle of the ring, stomped on his back. Referee kept stopping him. Hey, watch out, give me a minute, give us a minute. Finally, he got the referee out of the way, hit the accolade. He pulled this accolade. Rusev, you've seen the accolade. Rusev, it's a camel clutch. Rusev sits on his back and he pulls him back. Rusev pulled this accolade so far back he was laying on his own back. I thought he was going to snap Kalisto in half. Kalisto ended up tapping out. Rusev is the new United States champion, and this is great. Somebody that the WWE has confidence in. Somebody that the WWE is willing to push holding this title, and it's no longer going to be a pre-show title. Next up, we have the tag title match, New Day versus the Vaudevillains, in what was not a shocker. From the moment their music hit, the crowd hated the Vaudevillains. Not a single person seemed to like them. Big E and Xavier actually worked this match with Kofi at ringside, which was a good change. The Vaudevillains got the heat on Xavier Woods early, and he got a hot tag by Big E, and Big E came in he just started belly to belly suplexing everything and anything that was standing up in the middle of the ring. It looked at one point like Big E was going to hit the big ending and then do like a double team version of it with Woods, but it was broken up, and then the Vaudevillains kind of took down all 3 members of the New Day at ringside. They threw Xavier back in the ring and hit the whirling dervish, went for the pin, but Xavier kicked out. They said that he was the first person to ever kick out of the whirling dervish. Match ended with Kofi Kingston getting involved behind the referee's back, hitting the Trouble in Paradise. Xavier Woods hit the Shining Wizard and got the pin. 1, 2, 3, keep the tag titles. Now to note, there was a spot in this match where Big E did his normal through the ropes dive, but he looked to have landed weird on his elbow. When he got up, he was holding his elbow. He was holding his elbow pretty much the rest of this match, and it looked as if he wasn't trying to move that arm at all. Now, I haven't heard anything if he injured it or if he was just selling really well, so I might look into that, but it could have just been the fact that he was selling, and he wasn't injured at all. We then had the 4-way Intercontinental Championship match, Miz defending against Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. This was a oh-so-great match. I mean, from the get-go, soon as the bell rang, Sami Zayn ran straight at Kevin Owens, hit him with the Helluva Kick, and just knocked him straight out. Knocked Owens out on his feet. Owens fell right out of the ring. Miz and Cesaro kind of looked at each other, looked over at Sami, and was like, what the just happened? Cesaro then runs at Miz and hits his own kind of, knockout move with the uppercut in the corner. Miz falls out of the ring. We then get a good Cesaro Zayn back and forth start to the match. About 5 minutes into the match, Owens is still knocked out at ringside. A couple minutes after that, Owens does come to, and he comes in and just destroys Sami Zayn. At one point in the match, Miz looked like he was going to hit an exploder suplex on Sami Zayn, and then Cesaro ran in and grabbed the Miz from behind, German suplex the Miz. The Miz still had the exploder in, so he exploded Zayn at the same time. End of the match, Miz took out Owens at ringside with a skull-crushing finale. Cesaro was standing in the corner. Miz went to run at him, I guess, for his clothesline that he usually does in the corner. Cesaro blocked it and threw Miz out of the ring. About half a second later, Cesaro couldn't even turn around or look, and he was hit with the Helluva Kick, knocked out. Zayn went for the pin, where the pin was broken up by Owens pulling Sami Zayn out of the match. Sami Zayn went ape shit crazy and just destroyed Owens at ringside. And before he could notice, Miz quickly squirreled into the ring, went for the pin, 1, 2, 3, retained his championship. Now, I've heard that the IC title eventually is going to go to Sami Zayn, and having him win it from a super hated heel like The Miz, it works. It's a really good idea, and I think it's all going to depend on which 3 of these guys goes into Money in the Bank and who doesn't, on who's going to challenge The Miz next for the championship. Next up, we have the Asylum match, Chris Jericho versus Dean Ambrose. This match went way too long, and it was boring. People on Twitter were telling me that they hated this match more than stuff they've seen in WCW and TNA. They made this match into nothing more than a comedy match from the start, where they both kept climbing up, grabbing weapons, climbing up, grabbing weapons. Jericho at one point grabbed the barbed wire board. Ambrose had nunchucks. Jericho started yelling at him, saying, "Hey, are you stupid? What do you think? You're going to fight off a barbed wire board with nunchucks?" And in fact, he fought off the barbed wire board with nunchucks. Ambrose then did some Michelangelo Ninja Turtle nunchuck moves trying to look cool in the ring, and it just made him look stupid. They pulled more and more weapons down. Looked like they were trying to kill time with this. Like, the match went almost a half an hour. And they pulled all the weapons down except the damn potted plant. End of the match, Ambrose grabbed a bucket and it ended up being full of tacks. He dumped the tacks on the mat. Jericho tried to run away and he was unsuccessful. Jericho did hit a code breaker on Dean. Dean kicked out of it. Jericho went for a second code breaker and Dean countered it and slammed Jericho on top of the tacks, hit the Dirty Deeds on the tacks, got the win over Jericho. From people that were there in the arena, they were stating on Twitter that the crowd never got into this match, and the entire arena was pretty much silent the whole 20 plus this match went. Now, I was thinking when the potted plant never came down, and they were still, you can tell there was still time left in the match, I thought, oh, that's it. This whole match is going to culminate with someone getting hit with the plant, and that's how they're going to go get the finish. Because if you think about it, the whole match, the whole feud started with Jericho destroying Mitch the Potted Plant. Fans got behind the plant. They were putting up memes on Twitter, tweeting "Rest in peace, Mitch the Plant." They were chanting for Mitch more than Jericho and Ambrose throughout the feud, and the plant just stayed up there. Next up, we have a submission match. Women's title on the line. Charlotte defending against Natty. The stipulation was if Ric Flair came down at all during this match, Charlotte would forfeit the match, lose on the spot, and Natty would be the new women's champion. This was a short match that was all right. It could have been better if it had more time. The match was so short, though, there wasn't much to talk about. Like I said, Ric Flair was banned from ringside, but then at one point his music hit, and we kind of got a glimpse of somebody up at the top of the ramp in a Ric Flair robe and a really bad white wig that looked like a mop top. And then the cameras shot right back to the ring. Natty had the sharpshooter on Charlotte, and because of this, she let it go because she got distracted and was super confused. We then saw the person in the robe and the wig take the wig off, take the robe off, turn around, and it ended up being Dana Brooke. Natty was still super confused. Charlotte tried to attack her from behind. Natty kicked her, and Charlotte fell out of the ring. Still confused by Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke runs down, gets on the ring apron. When she goes to hit Dana Brooke, Charlotte got her again from behind, put her in the figure eight, and eventually Natty tapped out. It looks like with Emma now being out, they're going to add Dana Brooke to Charlotte because they wanted Dana with somebody that she can learn from more than she's learned already. I don't know if they're going to add like maybe Becky Lynch with Natalya and go with like a tag match at Money in the Bank or on Raw, but we'll have to wait and see. Finally, the main event, Extreme Rules for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. This match was amazing and could be up there as a match of the year. I mean, so far in the WWE, this is probably the best match I've seen. Very chaotic match from the start. It was started off in the ring, let's build the ringside, all through the crowd and back. There was a spot where it looked like AJ was going to put Roman through the German announce table with the Styles Clash, but Roman blocked it off and knocked AJ down. AJ fell on top of the barricade. AJ got up, ran at Roman from the barricade on the table. Roman launched AJ about 5 to 10 feet in the air, and AJ crashed down ass first on the English announce table. Later on in the match, AJ is on the ring apron and Reigns was ringside. I wasn't sure exactly if he was going for a Hurricane Rana. It looked like maybe he was going to go for a Hurricane Rana spot, but Roman caught him and he whipped AJ head first into the LED side of the ring, the LED board on the side of the ring. He then went to whip him into the barricade. AJ blocked it, so he lifted him up for a power bomb. Walked towards the, I guess it's the Spanish announce table, and just threw AJ Styles, crossed about 4 feet, and AJ went crashing through that table as well. Gallows and Anderson then came down and they tried to get involved before being stopped by the Usos, and the match turned into what looked like a Texas Tornado 6-man tag team match. Back in the ring, Roman had a steel chair and was going to hit AJ with it, but AJ countered it. AJ got the chair, looked at Roman, and then went full bore, batshit crazy with this chair. Once he got the chair, AJ hit Roman with it. One Uso came in, he hit the Uso with it. Another Uso came in, he hit the Uso with it. And he started beating the crap out of Reigns with it. And every time the Usos would try to stand up, he'd beat the crap out of the Usos with it. He then hit the Styles Clash on the chair to Roman Reigns, but the Usos broke it up. AJ then looked, he looked like, I had enough. I'm done with this. And he pulled his elbow pad off. He goes to the ring apron like he's going to hit the phenomenal forearm, gets up on the top rope, launches, and in midair is hit with one of the most bitchin' spears I have ever seen. Reigns gets to the pin. 1, 2, 3. So many damn guys on Twitter were sour that Reigns won this match. They thought that Roman Reigns should not win this match, that AJ was the star of the match, which he was, and Reigns didn't deserve the win. But look at it. They've spent the last 2 years since the 2014 Royal Rumble building up Roman Reigns to be their top guy, and he finally won it at Mania. Do you really think he's going to lose the title this quickly? Was it 3 months? Not even 3 months. We had April. This is May. Not even 2 months. He was not losing the title here, guys. Anyways, we had heard all day, and we brought you the story as well, that Rollins was in town and was most likely going to be backstage. And I thought maybe he'd interfere in the match. I didn't know if he would interfere on behalf of Reigns, on against Reigns. But when he never came down, I thought, okay, they're saving him. He's not supposed to come back till June 6th anyways. Maybe they flew him in just to talk about his return. After the match, Roman was in the ring celebrating, and then if you look at the crowd, all their heads turn to the ramp and they start pointing. Now, the cameras are zoomed in on Roman Reigns, so you can't see anything else outside of the little box of Roman Reigns. And all of a sudden, here comes Seth Rollins. He hits Roman Reigns with a pedigree. Now, I wasn't sure if he was going to keep this as his finisher or not, but it looks like he is. Hit Roman with a pedigree, grabbed the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and just looked at it for a second before hoisting it over his head. Now, the original plans for Seth Rollins were he was going to lose the title to Roman Reigns at Survivor Series last year. He went down with an injury, vacated the title, never lost the title. So yes, putting him back here right for the championship, right in the championship picture makes sense because he never actually lost the title like he was supposed to. But I feel like unless they're turning Roman Reigns heel, this isn't gonna work. If Rollins is coming back as a heel, he's gonna get the biggest babyface pop in the company, if not in the industry right now, just because people have wanted to see him since he went down with his injury. Then no one wanted to see him go. And now that he's back, he's gonna get those babyface reactions. And there's nobody else they could have put against Roman Reigns where he's not gonna get he's gonna get heel boos. I mean, even against AJ Styles, they were getting dueling chants with Reigns, but against Seth Rollins, Reigns isn't going to get a single no. He's going to get booed out of the building, which I did hear after the cameras went off. Rollins stayed in the ring with the championship for a few more minutes while his music played. He left. They played Reigns' music, and the entire crowd in the arena booed Roman Reigns out of the building. Now, I gotta tell you a funny story. When I watched Extreme Rules twice last night. If you saw my videos from yesterday, I was out of town. I actually took my wife to Disneyland for her birthday. So she drove home, and I watched Extreme Rules on my phone as we drove home. And when Rollins came into this match, I marked out so hard. I screamed so loud, it scared my wife. I thought she was going to wreck the car. In turn, I got yelled at for a minute or two about screaming wildly like I did and scared the crap out of her. She almost wrecked the car, blah, 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 but it was worth it because Seth Rollins is back. There was a rumor that the reason the women's match was so short, I gotta get this before I'm done here. There was supposed to be a McMahon segment with Stephanie and Shane, and I don't know if Vince was supposed to be involved or not. It was actually, from what I'm hearing, right after the opening match. They said, you know what, we're not going to do the McMahon segment. Give more time to the Asylum match. And in turn, the Asylum match actually ended up going too long. They gave them more time, and I don't know if it's Jericho and Ambrose thinking, okay, they're giving us more time, and they thought they had even more time than that, but because of it, they actually had to cut time from the women's match because, of course, they're not going to cut time from the main event. So originally the women's match was supposed to go a few minutes longer than it did, and maybe they would have helped it, and maybe it would have made it be a good match instead of a almost below away match. But what did you guys think of Extreme Rules? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? What was your favorite match? What was your least favorite match? Like I said, a lot of matches were short, seemed rushed, and the only two good matches to me was the four-way for the IC title and the main event, the Extreme Rules match for the WWE Championship. But let me know what you guys thought of Extreme Rules and what you guys think is going to happen tonight on Raw going forward with, the IC title, the US title, the women's title, the WWE Championship, and so on. Remember, guys, comment below, like and share this video, like us on Facebook, and subscribe here on YouTube.